Kansas appears simple on the surface, but beneath its plains lies a history far darker and deeper than expected. Long before modern borders, this land witnessed conflict, survival, and decisions that shaped an entire nation. What happened here influenced America's future, even if history rarely speaks Kansas's name aloud. This story is not about quiet farmland, but about power, bloodshed, and forgotten turning points. To understand Kansas, we must return to a time when this land was anything but peaceful. For thousands of years, indigenous nations thrived here, adapting to a harsh and unpredictable environment. The Kansa, Pawnee, Wichita, and other tribes shaped the land long before settlers arrived. Their survival depended on balance, migration, and deep knowledge of the plains. But balance would not last once outside forces began pushing westward. Kansas soon became a crossroads where cultures collided and control was violently contested. As the United States expanded west, Kansas became a strategic prize no one wanted to surrender. Its fertile land promised wealth, power, and influence to whoever controlled its future. But Kansas was not empty, and expansion came at the direct expense of native nations. Forced treaties and removals stripped indigenous people of land they had lived on for generations. As tribes were pushed aside, Kansas opened to settlers carrying conflicting beliefs. In the 1850s, Kansas became the battleground for America's most explosive moral conflict. The question was simple, yet deadly. Would Kansas allow slavery or reject it entirely? Congress attempted compromise, but Kansas became a violent testing ground instead. Pro-slavery and anti-slavery settlers flooded in, each side determined to control elections. What followed was not politics, but bloodshed that shocked the nation. Kansas erupted into years of violence that previewed the coming Civil War. Raids, assassinations, and intimidation became daily realities across the territory. Neighbors turned against neighbors, driven by ideology and fear. Kansas earned a brutal nickname that history would never forget. This violence was not random, but a warning of what awaited the entire country. Among the chaos emerged John Brown, a man who believed violence was justified to end slavery. Brown viewed Kansas not as territory, but as a moral battlefield demanding action. In 1856, his actions would push Kansas deeper into national attention and fear. Brown led violent raids, shocking even those who opposed slavery peacefully. Kansas became the stage where extremism revealed how divided America truly was. After years of violence, Kansas faced the question of statehood under fragile conditions. Multiple constitutions were drafted, rejected, and rewritten amid political pressure. In 1861, Kansas entered the Union as a free state just before war erupted. Its admission symbolized failure to compromise and the collapse of national unity. The Civil War arrived quickly, and Kansas was already hardened by years of bloodshed. Kansas contributed soldiers fiercely loyal to the Union, shaped by earlier violence. Border warfare continued, blurring the line between soldiers and civilians. Raids and retaliation scarred communities long after battles ended. Kansas endured destruction that rarely appeared in official war records. When the war ended, Kansas was free, but deeply wounded. After the Civil War, Kansas faced rebuilding while carrying memories of violence still fresh. Freed African Americans arrived seeking opportunity, but equality remained distant and uncertain. New communities formed quickly, but law and order struggled to keep pace. Violence did not disappear, it simply changed shape in the unsettled plains. Kansas entered the age of frontier justice, where survival often outweighed fairness. Towns like Dodge City became symbols of chaos, guns, and a dangerous reputation. Famous lawmen and outlaws crossed paths, blurring heroism and brutality. Violence was often celebrated, masking the fear experienced by everyday residents. Behind the legends were communities struggling to build stability from disorder. Kansas myths grew larger than reality, overshadowing the quiet hardships endured. Railroads transformed Kansas, connecting isolated towns to national markets and power. With rails came settlers, commerce, and relentless pressure on land and people. Native displacement intensified as expansion demanded speed and efficiency. Economic growth benefited some, while others were pushed further to the margins. Recovery demanded discipline, as new farming methods slowly restored trust between people and the land. Government programs reshaped rural life, introducing regulations that balanced survival with sustainability. World War II pulled Kansas into global conflict, turning fields into factories of food and manpower. Kansas supplied grain, oil, and labor, becoming an unseen engine behind Allied victory. After the war, returning soldiers reshaped towns, expectations, and the future of the Great Plains. Highways cut through the prairie, connecting Kansas to national commerce and cultural change. Television and mass media shifted identity, shrinking distances once defined by isolation. Agribusiness expanded rapidly, replacing family farms with industrial-scale production. Economic growth brought efficiency, but also loss of tradition and rural independence. Kansas cities grew upward, while rural populations quietly declined. Education and research transformed Kansas into a center for aviation and engineering. Cold War tensions turned the Midwest into strategic ground few ever noticed. Kansas lived quietly beside nuclear readiness, daily life masking unimaginable power below. Natural disasters continued shaping survival, from tornadoes to violent summer storms. Tornado Alley made Kansas both feared and respected for its resilience. Community bonds strengthened as survival depended on neighbors warning one another before storms arrived. Technology improved forecasting, giving residents precious minutes to prepare and protect lives. Despite progress, the land demanded respect, reminding Kansans who truly controlled the plains. Cultural identity evolved through music, sports, and stories rooted in perseverance. Basketball legends emerged, turning small gyms into places of national attention. Art and literature reframed Kansas beyond stereotypes of endless flatness. The Wizard of Oz myth reshaped global perception, blending fantasy with real geography. Tourism quietly grew, inviting visitors to explore history beneath familiar imagery. Native heritage resurfaced through preservation, education, and renewed recognition. Tribal histories challenged simplified narratives of settlement and ownership. Economic shifts tested rural towns as younger generations sought opportunities elsewhere. Those who stayed adapted, redefining success beyond population growth. Renewable energy transformed the horizon with towering wind turbines. The prairie, once harvested by hand, now powered the future. Kansas balanced tradition and innovation, refusing to be defined by a single era. Education became a pillar of progress, linking rural roots with modern ambition. Universities expanded research, shaping agriculture, aviation, and medicine nationwide. Wichita rose as an aviation hub, redefining Kansas as a center of innovation. The sky became a new frontier, echoing the state's long history of exploration. Military presence strengthened Kansas's role in national defense and global strategy. Cold War tensions quietly shaped life far from the world's visible front lines. Beneath calm landscapes, secrets of global conflict once waited underground. These silent structures reflected fears that never reached the surface.
How do we create jobs while
Political
protect my fellow
movements in
residents, our
Kansas
community's
often
future is
mirrored
at stake?
deeper national divides. Voices clashed, but civic engagement remained central to Kansas' identity. Media portrayed Kansas as simple, overlooking its layered contradictions. Urban centers grew slowly, shaped by caution rather than rapid expansion. Small towns remained cultural anchors despite shrinking populations. Generations passed down stories, preserving memory where records faded. Kansas endured by adapting, not erasing its past. Migration patterns shifted, reshaping communities and redefining who called Kansas home. New cultures blended with tradition, quietly transforming everyday life. Latino and refugee communities revitalized towns once facing decline. Agriculture evolved again, relying on data, machinery, and global markets. What was once local harvest now fed supply chains far beyond state borders. Climate uncertainty returned as a familiar challenge under new conditions. Farmers faced old threats with modern tools and cautious optimism. Water scarcity raised questions about sustainability and long-term survival. The Ogallala Aquifer became both lifeline and ticking clock. Decisions made today would shape Kansas for generations ahead. Kansas now stands at a crossroads, shaped by memory, resilience, and choices still unfolding. Its past is not buried, but layered beneath every road, town, and horizon. Understanding Kansas means listening beyond stereotypes and quiet assumptions. This land was never empty, never simple, and never finished telling its story. Kansas challenges us to ask how history shapes the places we think we know. Every state holds secrets, but only curiosity turns land into understanding. What part of Kansas history surprised you the most or challenged what you believed? If this story made you see Kansas differently, share your thoughts in the comments. Support independent documentary storytelling by liking this video and subscribing.
Hey everyone, hit that
More
subscribe
hidden
button.
histories await, and every journey begins with attention.